In 1492, Columbus sailed the ocean blue. We all grew up with that rhyme to remember when Christopher Columbus discovered the New World, now known as North America. However, that's not entirely accurate. While he did sail from Spain in 1492, he wasn't the first European in North America. It's been well known that Vikings had been in North America for some time before then, but it's been very difficult to determine exactly when the Vikings arrived. So where do you turn to when you have a historical mystery that has baffled archaeologists and historians for centuries? You turn to the sun. I'm Think So Joe, this is Things You Might Not Know, and today I'll tell you how the history of the sun is rewriting the history of North America. Vikings are known for many things: horned helmets, boats with dragons on the bow, axes, mead, and very big beards. They're also known for being legendary sailors and have been confirmed to have explored as far east as Baghdad. Today, though, we're discussing their travels west. The story of Viking explorer Leif Erikson details getting lost at sea and discovering what he called Vinland, an unknown land ripe with grapes, wheat, and maple trees. After resupplying, he sailed for Greenland, never returning to the land he had discovered. Accounts of its discovery can be found in the ancient Viking stories, the Saga of Eric the Red, and the Saga of the Greenlanders. Historians have long known of the semi-mythical Vinland of Viking sagas, but had no way of knowing what exactly it referred to. Many historians believe that the term was used to reference anything from the west of Greenland, while others maintain that it was used for a specific region. Since the stories contained both intricate detail of lands that had been explored, as well as embellishments of dangers and glories found, not much geographic credibility was given to these sagas. While it seemed likely, and was even commonly accepted as being true, that Viking explorers had explored parts of North America centuries before Columbus was even born, the exact time frame was still difficult to determine. In the 1960s at L'Anse Aux Meadows in Newfoundland, Canada, remains of buildings were discovered by the husband and wife team of Helge Ingstad and Anne Stein Ingstad. Finding pieces of wood that had been cut with a metal blade, a technology that the indigenous peoples didn't have, as well as various metal artifacts, they were able to confirm that this was in fact a Viking settlement. The ruins and surrounding areas show signs of milling, architecture, hunting, and even ship repair. Interestingly, it also showed remains of foods based on berries, which were only abundant further south. Based on all of this evidence, archaeologists believe that this site was used not just as a settlement where people lived, but also as a base camp for a wide range of explorations. While this site is greatly important, evidence suggests that it didn't last long. With the scarcity of many foods, as well as the low population of somewhere between 30 to 160, this camp was never going to last forever. In fact, it's estimated that the settlement lasted less than 100 years. But when exactly did the Vikings settle here? To find out that answer, we need to go back a few years. We also need to ask some astrophysicists and geological scientists. In 993, a solar system bombarded the Earth with solar flares. This was one of two massive solar storms that hit the Earth, with the first being in 774. Scientists have confirmed the years of these storms by studying ice cores from the Arctic and Antarctic, as well as ancient Chinese corals, and finding very specific radioactive isotopes from those times. All the radiation from these solar flares was absorbed by materials of that time, with trees absorbing much of the radiation and expelling radioactive material into the atmosphere for months afterwards. But what does this have to do with our Viking site in Canada? Well, in October 2021, scientists analyzed wood samples from the site in northeastern Canada and, using radiocarbon dating with the solar flares of 993 as a reference, were able to confirm that the samples had been cut in 1021, almost exactly 1,000 years ago. Using that date and location as a starting point, historians and archaeologists have re-examined the Viking sagas and have found correlation between lands described in them and actual regions of the Canadian Northeast. In fact, it now seems possible, if not likely, that Viking explorers used the St. Lawrence River to sail to New Brunswick, Quebec, Montreal, and even as far south as New York State, with some even believing they may have reached modern-day New York City. While historians and scientists are still debating how long the Vikings were in North America, as well as how far they explored, they now have a starting point for much of their new research. This new perspective is beginning to reshape not just what we know about Viking explorers, but how their discoveries and examinations are reshaping European history as well. Some historians even now believe that Christopher Columbus, of 1492 fame, knew about the Norse sagas and sought out Vinland, believing it to be Asia. While the mysteries of the past are slow to be solved, this new perspective given by the history of the sun is shedding light on what actually happened all those centuries ago. Hey everybody, thank you so much for watching Things You Might Not Know. If you enjoyed today's video, please leave a like and a comment down below, subscribe to the channel if you haven't already, and hit that bell icon so you get notified every time I post a new video. You can follow me on Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram, and you can see a playlist of Things You Might Not Know videos over there. Thanks again for watching, and I'll see you next time!